Now to the president making a case to the country for a wall at the southern border. It happened in his first ever primetime address from the Oval Office. This as we approach day 19 now of the partial government shutdown. CBS 2's Jessica Layton here now with the latest in the battle. Jessica.
That's right, Maurice. There was some question tonight as to whether President Trump would declare a national emergency in order to fund the wall without getting the okay from Congress. He didn't do that, but he did call securing the border a choice between right and wrong. Meanwhile, Democrats fought back, demanding they separate the shutdown from the arguments over the wall.
A crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul.
President Trump with a primetime pitch, a plea to the public from the Oval Office, making a case that the country is facing a genuine security crisis at the border, one that's allowing deadly violence and dangerous drugs on our soil.
Thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now.
Funding the wall is the reason for this partial government shutdown, now the second longest in our nation's history. President Trump wants $5.7 billion to build the wall, or as he also called it tonight, a physical barrier.
At the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall. Some have suggested a barrier is immoral. Then why do wealthy politicians build walls, fences, and gates around their homes? They don't build walls because they hate the people on the outside, but because they love the people on the inside.
But Democrats are only willing to spend $1.3 billion on border security.
Senator Chuck Schumer has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past, along with many other Democrats. They changed their mind only after I was elected president.
Shortly after the president's speech, a rebuttal from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Forcing American taxpayers to waste billions of dollars on an expensive and ineffective wall, a wall he always promised Mexico would pay for.
Alongside New York Senator Chuck Schumer.
The symbol of America should be the Statue of Liberty, not a 30-foot wall. End this shutdown.
In Washington, the blame game has been fierce and going full force since the start of the shutdown. But for these federal workers from our area, there's no finger pointing. They're just desperate for a paycheck.
We are boning everything back to the bare necessities to try and make it through.
Both of these women are officers with the National Treasury Employees Union, forced to pinch pennies knowing they likely won't get paid Friday.
When you say, well, gee, how can you be paycheck to paycheck? You have a decent salary. The reality is, living in the New York metropolitan area, things are very, very expensive.
Now, President Trump says he is calling congressional leaders back to the White House tomorrow for more negotiations. Meanwhile, labor unions are planning to hold some rallies in Washington calling for an end to the shutdown this Thursday. That's the same day the president is planning to visit the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas.